In this tutorial we're going to cover the more advanced features of character edit mode and creating your own custom character. Now it is advised that you do tutorial 5 basic character creation before doing this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to look at how you can modify the shape and size of your character by loading in a mesh, and also how we can modify joint limits to have your character react and behave accordingly within the simulated environment. So to get started, first of all we go to File, Character Edit Mode and New Character. Now here we're going to use the standard simulation character as the simulation character, and then in Create Reference Character, browse and go to Tutorial 11, Creating Characters Advanced, and choose My Character FBX. With that set, click on OK. That takes us into character edit mode. We leave the root as the root of the character, everything else as default, and click OK. Now we've got the two characters on top of one another. We're going to go into skeletal view and move all the joints to place on top of the reference character. First of all we move the root and just line that up into place, and then snap the leg, the knee, the ankle, and as you can see the foot is actually angled out a little bit here. So to fix that up we're going to rotate the foot round a little bit, and then with the ball we want to bring that down so it's in line with the ball, the same as before, and then snap that, and then snap the toe into place as well. So once we've got one leg fixed up, we can just mirror it onto the other side and then continue up the spine. So spine 1, spine 2, oops, spine 3, the neck, head and head end. Now for the shoulders, you can see that there, because the back is angled backwards, the shoulders are now aiming quite far back. So when we move these all the way to the front to snap them to the shoulder joint, you can see that the arm is actually leaning backwards, and you can tell by the angle of the knuckles here. This is a hinge joint, which is represented by this spinning arrow, and that gives us an idea as to what angle the arm is set at. So what we need to do now is just rotate this arm round so that it's back to horizontal, and then once we've done that we can just snap the rest of the arm into place. Now you can see here that we have an extra joint for the roll on the forearm, which we don't have on the reference character. So what we need to do here is rotate the elbow so that that joint is going to be lying along the center of the forearm of our reference character. And then once we've done that, we can snap the wrist into place, the fingers, and the fingers end. And again, once we've done that, we can then just mirror left to right, and we have our two skeletons matching up one to the other. So once we've got that set up, we now want to load in a mesh and start to move around these mass and collision objects to give him a correct physical presence within the world. So let's go into shaded mode, and as you can see these mass objects are kind of not quite in the right place, so we want to move these around now. To bring the mesh in, we want to have it parented to the reference character so that when we're editing the simulation character it's going to be frozen and we won't be able to select it. And all objects in Endorphin are parented on creation. So what we do is we select the reference character, and then we go File, Import, select our mesh and leave all the settings as default and click OK. And now that's brought that in and parented to the reference character. So now when we work on the simulation character we cannot actually select that mesh. And now to tidy the view up a bit, we want to hide all the mass objects of our reference character but just leave the mesh visible so we can then start working on the simulation character. We can do that by bringing up the node view which is here, and then hide the reference character, and then by clicking on the icon next to the mesh we can then bring the mesh back just by itself. So I'm now working, I've got just the simulation character and the mesh viewable in the scene. So to start with, we're going to work on the feet and get those looking correct. So if we go down here, and then we can go focus on the feet, and as you can see they're rotated round a little bit. Some of them are under the ground, some of them are raised up, so we want to just level all of this off now. If we go to the left viewport and again focus in on there, we're going to rotate the ball of the foot round, the heel of the foot, sorry, and get that straight, and then move that down so that the collision objects, these ones here, the balls, are actually making contact with the ground. Again, so this one, the ball, going to get it straight, and then move those down so they're touching as well, and again with the toe. So it's just kind of cleaning up where all these objects are, and then once we're happy with that, mirror left to right to get those over onto the other foot. So we've now got the feet cleaned up. So with the calf here, we actually want to add some more collision objects here to fill out the back here where this muscle is. And as I said before, parenting is done on creation, so we select the mass object and then just create a new collision object, and it's automatically going to be parented to that mass object. Now I'm just going to scale it down here, give it the right kind of size, and then just move it into place like that. So a little note about these parameters here. These allow you to turn off collisions between other collision objects within the hierarchy. So here I don't want this object to collide with the parent, the thigh, because that's going to stop him being able to bend his leg fully round. But then I want to turn on siblings and ancestors so that perhaps his arm or the other guy's foot is going to collide with that object. And then using those same principles we can go through the rest of the character and fill out all the mass and collision objects so that it represents the correct shape and size of your mesh. And then to get into more detail on the character, we're going to have a look at the joint limits and start to modify some of those. And to do that we're going to go into skeletal view, and then for this example I'm going to have a look at this inner joint. So to display the joint limits for each of the joints, we go to the node view, and then we can just turn them on by clicking on the graphic next to them underneath the joint. And here we have the joint limit and the joint limit offset. The limit is the degree to which the joint is able to move, and then the offset is the resting place of where the joint is going to be within that limit. So let's have a look there and see what we've got in the viewport. So we've got two parts here. We have the swing limit and the twist limit. The swing allows us to rotate the joint perpendicular to the joint anywhere within the cone, and then the twist limit allows the joint to twist along the axis of the joint. So as you can see here, this joint has got a bit out of place because we moved this inner shoulder joint so much to start with, that the cone has actually become out of place from the joint. So to rectify that, we can select it and then just easily rotate it back into place. And I'm going to move that down a little bit as well. Now you can also see that the twist limit, that's outside of the resting place for that limit as well. So we just want to rotate that up, and there we've got both of them sitting in the same place. And again we can just mirror that to the other side, so we've got the joint for the other side behaving exactly the same. And then if we want to modify any of these parameters, perhaps for this example we want to reduce how much this joint is going to be able to move in this kind of up and down axis here. So we can select the joint, and then here we're going to change the swing to size, and I'm just going to reduce that down, and as you can see the cone updates in the viewport to show me that, and I'm going to do that for the soft and for the hard limit as well. And again, any changes you make sure to mirror those over to the other side. You can then go through and modify any of the other joint limits that you need to on the character to get him behaving correctly within the simulation. So once you've done that, all that's left to do is make the connections in the character rig setup, so then you can transfer motion from the reference character to the simulation character and then have him within the simulation. So we can do that. Hotkey C will bring up the character rig setup dialog. We then go to the reference character and just fill out these connections, the same as before in the basic tutorial. So lower spine, mid spine, so we have a mid spine this time, spine 2, spine 3, head is head, shoulder is clavicle, upper arm, hand is hand, and we have fingers, so I'm going to apply those as well. Do the same for the other side. And then for the leg, upper leg, the foot is foot, and toes are toes. And again, same for the other side. Click OK once you've finished that. So now we have our character set up, ready to take into simulation, have animations loaded onto him, take him into the simulation. He's going to perform and behave exactly how we want him to, and then we can export those animations back out again into our third-party package.